So let me just introduce myself and explain what this is about. I know quite a lot of you know me already. My name is Fiona Campbell, and I have been working with neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, specifically for business for over 30 years. The whole point about this particular networking lunch is for people to spend, we'll put you in breakout rooms just to spend a little time talking about some of the subjects that we cover. We introduce a subject, and what my whole expectation is for this workshop is to be able to introduce how I myself and many NLP professionals now are using NLP tools and techniques for business and coaching. Because as some of you may know, neuro-linguistic program is the methodology of how we create behavior. But I also like to think about it as it's like the software program for our brains. It's we get to understand how behavior is created. And for me, people who are qualified in NLP, not just qualified, people who are really good at applying NLP techniques, we have the ability to break down behavior. I actually call this advanced communication skills. These are the advanced communication skills because you can actually look at a situation, you can look at what someone's doing, and you can break that down and you can help them change that. You can also look at someone who's doing something really well, break down what they're doing, and you can, that's when we're talking about modeling, and then you can replicate what they're doing. And there's people like Annette Palmer, who's here today. Annette and I have known each other for, 16, 17 years now, Annette. And we work closely. Annette assists me on all my trainings. She's a consultant for change management. And I know that you've worked with banks coming together, banks merging, banks splitting up, all sorts of huge, big change management programs. And Annette has come back all the time when she's in the middle of these programs and said, I couldn't be doing this without my NLP skills. So this is really all about introducing how we use NLP and how it's an added bonus to everything that's happening in business. So as well as doing NLP for clients, I now run the dual qualification NLP business coach and business practitioner, and that's accredited by the Association of NLP. I'll talk about that at the end, but I don't want to talk, this isn't the right time to talk about that. But I have been running corporate training. I have been developing and delivering corporate training for over 25 years, all NLP based. And I get feedback constantly for people saying, how did you get that group so engaged? How is that group actually applying what they're learning? And that's all coming through the way we're teaching and the way we're connecting. So hopefully these workshops, these lunches run every week. It's only 45 minutes. You're just getting a small snippet of what we're doing. But today what we're going to go into is setting smart, well-formed goals. Now, most people here, I'm assuming, I may be completely wrong, but you know about setting goals. And who has actually heard of SMART goals? Put your hand up or put the reaction if you've heard of SMART goals. Yeah. So SMART goals are the way to go in business. When you set SMART goals, you'll always get your results. Rubbish. No. People set SMART goals and they set them all out here. And they talk about this incredible thing they're going to achieve. And I'm going to be doing this and I will do that. And they never do it. When we're working with NLP, we're working with connecting goals to someone's senses. We're connecting goals to the inside world. So let me explain a little bit. This is how I like to describe the inside world and the outside world. The inside world is everything inside your skin. So that's where we have our feelings, our beliefs, our hopes, our dreams, our expectation, our fears, our confidence, our values, our experience, our disappointments, our knowledge, and our imagination. It's also where we have our emotions. And then we have the outside world. The outside world is where we have your family, your friends, your colleagues, your home, your office, your car, products, services, results, KPIs, targets, goals, actions, and all your stuff. Most people in business are setting their goals on the outside world. They're not connecting them with themselves. And it's fantastic when you actually work with someone, because I know we've got a lot of professional coaches on this group as well. When you work with someone and you see someone getting really, all of a sudden they get incredibly connected with a goal, that's got much more chance of happening, because motivation comes from within. So just to explain a little bit of how the format of this, I'm going to take 10 minutes going through these slides. Then we'll put you in a breakout room to either talk about your goals, or maybe if you've got someone that's experienced about doing this and you're not experienced, get them to maybe help you set a goal in a way that really connects with your senses. And then we'll come back and I'll then introduce my products and services that I have available at that time. Okay, but so we'll just get back onto here. To help someone become motivated, and this is not just someone, this is yourself as well, to achieve anything, you have to get into their inside world to find out what works for them. So you've really got to connect, because anyone can go, yes, of course I'll achieve this. Yes, this is what I really want. And when you spend time working with that, you'll find actually it may not be something that they want. And goals only get achieved when you have a clear pathway forward, but also if you're actually in a position in business or coaching where you're working with someone to help them achieve goals, people will only achieve that. Listen, they'll only really work with you to achieve these goals when they feel validated, appreciated, listened to, understood. Validated, appreciated, listened to, understood, and that should be encouraged, not appreciated there at the end, encouraged. Because when someone believes in you and someone tells you they believe in you, that is a huge motivator. An absolutely huge motivator for people. So the more that you can actually show someone that you believe in them, show someone for, in fact, who here has had someone that you've set something, you've maybe shared you're going to achieve that, and someone has absolutely championed you to do it? Put your hand up, or put the virtual hand up to save you. How has that felt, knowing that you've actually said to someone you're going to achieve something? It feels it's a strong motivator, because we don't want to let people down. And very often what gets measured gets achieved. So creating well-formed SMART goals, SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So we have to state these goals in the positive. And what we mean by in the positive is state what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen. So I don't want to feel stressed at work. That's not a SMART goal, because the word stressed is in the sentence, so people will start to feel stressed. Don't think of purple rabbits. If you're thinking of purple rabbits, because the word purple rabbit is in the sentence, you think about that, even though you could state in the positive, state what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen. This seems like common sense. But believe me, when we're working with companies, one of the longest bits of time we spend is helping people get really clear and really, really focused on what it is specifically they want to achieve. And then the desired state must be in control of the person setting the goal. You cannot set a goal to get promoted. That's impossible. That is not a SMART formed outcome. You can set a desire or an expectation to get promoted. However, you can set a goal to have the correct skills and knowledge required for that promotion, or to be able to display the appropriate behavior for that promotion. So you've got to look to see what has the person got control over. What can they do towards that ultimate goal? But as I said, for someone going for promotion, someone else is making the decision for the promotion. Now, this is what makes a SMART goal a well-formed outcome. Can you see, hear, feel, maybe smell, taste what's to have achieved this? Our brain does not know the difference between reality and imagination. Do you know that? Okay. Some of you are going yes, and some of you, yeah. I want you to imagine I've got a lemon here. It's a lovely, juicy lemon. And I'm cutting that lemon in half, And I'm taking that lemon. Oh, look at some of the faces. Some of you are actually expecting, Daniela, that was fabulous what you did there. I like it. Kulive, you're the same. We're not even in the same country. We're not even in the same continent, but there was no lemon. Okay? So when you can actually step it, and also our brain doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. Okay? That is why people can go through trauma in the comfort of their sitting room for something that happened to them 20 years ago. Because that memory is enough to create the chemical reaction in the body to allow that person to go through the same physical situation again. So when you're setting goals, it's really getting someone to step into it. Now, you ain't going to get anyone to step into it, say, imagine that being exciting. Imagine trying to achieve, no. How is this going to be? How does it look? How does it sound? You, as the coach or the leader or the person that's helping someone set the goals, you've got to go into the state you want that person to go into first. You've got to lead. You can't just give instructions out there to hope someone will do it. You've got to connect, because state and enthusiasm is highly contagious. So if you become really enthusiastic, someone else is going to become really enthusiastic. Also, we have the ecology check. The ecology check is, what's going to happen when you achieve this goal? What do you have to give up? Now, I don't care what anyone says. If you plan to be a success in your life, if you want to set up your own business, if you want to go into a leadership position, any of these things that you do where you're taking responsibility, there's a big part of your life you're going to have to give up. Who's experienced that? You miss out weekends, you miss out. I've trained through thousands of weekends of my life. Thousands of evenings have been spent in training. I've been in training for probably 40 years now, because I really believe in lifelong learning. So you've got to ask someone, what is it going to give up by achieving this? What are you willing to give up? And you know this lovely thing where people that get successful, people say, you're lucky. Guess what? The harder I work at something, the more focused I get, the luckier I become. So it's understanding that you've really, depending on the goal, depending on what someone wants to achieve, these are the things you have to talk about. You have to really talk about the impact. How's this going to affect your family? How's this going to affect a partner? How's this going to affect your friends, your social life, and maybe other things you do in your spare time? Because very often, it depends what someone wants, but I do a lot of work with people moving from different positions within business. I work with a lot of leadership development. I also work with a lot of entrepreneurs setting up their own business. So we really have to look at what is it that you're really going to give up and what does it entail to be able to achieve this. So affecting family, friends, your health, the job you're in, how people see you, your reputation, all these things will all be included. So a business example of a SMART goal is, and you can take, when I go through these slides, you can take a photograph if you want, but you will get a recording of the video, but wait till I finish and I'll let you know when to take a photo. A business example, increase annual revenue by 15% within the next financial year. It's specific. The goal specifies a target to increase annual revenue. It's measurable. It's achievable. It's relevant, and it's time-bound. Now, to turn that into a smart, well-formed outcome, I would then to say to someone, okay, how does it feel having increased your annual revenue within the next financial year? So you actually take them forward in their minds into having done that already. How does it feel? How does it look? How does it sound? What are people saying about you now? What's this doing to your reputation? So you can take a photograph of that. And it's really, so the SMART goal is just that. The part that adds what I call the magic sauce is the part of the enthusiasm and everything that brings that in. Then we have a coaching example. Help my client develop effective communication skills within 3 months. So specific, we're saying exactly what skills you're working with your client. Measurable, you're going to do this within 3 months. And it's 3 months from the start date. So we always have start date and end date. Achievable? Is it realistic? And sometimes you've got to discuss with your client how this is realistic, how this can happen, who's communicating with whom, how will you know when these skills are being developed. So there's lots more to go into this. Relevance, okay? How will this affect your reputation? How can this affect your business? And time bound. So again, to turn this into a well-formed outcome, okay, take yourself forward 3 months from now and that client's come back to you. And that client has not only improved communication, they have got proof that people are bringing things back on time where they weren't paying any attention before. So people are actually bringing back evidence of doing it. How do you feel as a coach now? How is this impacting on your reputation? So from a coach perspective or from a leader perspective, being invested in someone achieving their goal, it creates this magic sort of support for someone and this magic push for someone, but also you can then use that because it's reflecting in yourself, it's reflecting in your own career. So it ends up being a very win-win situation. And then a new manager example. We do a lot of work getting into companies and working with the new leader teams. Increase my team's productivity by implementing a new project management system, resulting in a 20% reduction in product delivery time. Again, we've got the specific, the measurable, the achievable, and relevant. You can take a photograph of that. So I would say to someone, if it's a new manager, in fact, let's just share out, what are some of the things you would think, what would you say to a new manager if this was their goal to help this turn this into a well-formed outcome? What is it? Marco, did your hand go up or were you just doing that? Yeah, do you want to come on, Marco? What would you say?
Future pacing it. How does it feel to have achieved this?
Okay, would you, so I would say, what if they were highly visual?
Could you see yourself having achieved this?
You've done a wonderful, you said, could you? Drop the could. Because could is,
See yourself, yeah.
It's, and what I would want you to do, Marco, is be much more enthusiastic in your voice tone with that. Okay. How's that going to feel? How's it going to look? How's it going to sound? How are people going to see you as a manager? How's this building your reputation? So it's getting that person go, oh. So you want them to leave when you're setting well-formed outcomes. It's like starting on the motor and getting the motor going with people. Okay. And thank you, Marco. Thank you for that. So it's engaging all the senses. And that was a lovely example Marco gave, because very often we tend to just give one. I default to see how it looks, feel how it feels, hear how it sounds. And then as you achieve this now, because again, that's taking the brain, that's using future pacing language, but it's future pacing language, bringing it back to the present. Because when we're working with neuro-linguistic programming techniques, it's how language is impacting in behavior. And we've got lots of really cool ways that we can use language in all sorts of ways that people consciously are not aware of, but their unconscious mind knows exactly what we're talking about. So what you're doing is see how it looks, feel how it feels, hear how it sounds. As you see yourself, feel yourself, hear yourself, doing that now. And people going into that incredible state, but they haven't got there yet, but they've done, that's most of the goal settings been done because they're already in the state of achievement. So that helps people keep going when times get tough. Timeline your goals and milestones. Timeline in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, timeline refers to the way you organize the concept of time on the inside. Everyone needs a way to differentiate between personal past, present, and future. Make sure your goal is in your timeline and you're able to visualize achieving this. So let me show you a really cool, quick technique. Okay, point to your future. Point to when you imagine your future. Some people's future will be there and are there, but for a lot of us, our future's there and our past is there. Okay, now with your other hand, point to a goal you haven't achieved yet. Okay. Use your other hand to do that. So one hand's in the future. Okay. So can you see, you should have two hands up. Okay. There you go. So point to something. That's one thing you haven't achieved yet. Point to something that you've been trying to achieve for ages and you never seem to achieve it. Where's that? And point to where, let me see where your timeline is. Okay. Most people who've got things they never achieve isn't on their timeline. So you just imagine your timeline and imagine taking that goal. You could do it with me now. Just get this thing you have, only if you're sure you want to achieve it. Don't put this in your timeline if you don't want to achieve it. Okay, so imagine your timeline, take it and then just go, imagine it at some point in your timeline so you actually see when you're going to achieve it. Because we have to be able to visualize what it is we want to achieve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put you we're only going to do 5 minutes in the breakout rooms. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 5 breakout rooms. Just auto, so it's about, in fact, let's do 6. Let's recreate, I'll do 6 breakout rooms. 6 breakout rooms, that's about 3 to a room. And just go in and chat, get to know each other. I know you won't get 5 minutes, but maybe share something about a goal you've actually achieved. Or what you can do is you can, maybe if you're not NLP trained, but you're someone who's in the room to help you with this, okay, can you help make this really strong for me? Okay, so I'm opening all rooms. And Natalia, I just noticed you've joined us from Australia. So we've even got Australia here as well, so fabulous. Okay, so see you in. I'll pop into a couple of rooms and see you back in 5 minutes.
Not enough time.
That's it, we're recording. Of course, there's not enough time. This is a really short session. That's why we have the NLP Business Club. I'll be telling you about that in a moment. So let's get some feedback. Just let a couple of people, what did you get from that? You only get 5 minutes in this. It's only 5 minutes. Daniela, yes?
I had a brilliant conversation with the guys, Marco and, oh God, sorry, memory loss. I'm terrible. Araf.
Yeah.
And they were so helpful because I'm very new in it and they gave me a fabulous insight to something that I've been pushing against for a long time. So I thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, fantastic. And again, this is what this group's all about. It's about connecting with each other, sharing, and please feel free to connect with each other outside the group. We're happy for you to do that. And so thank you, Daniela. One more, let's get one more comment. What did you get from what we've covered?
I have.
Yes, Laura?
In my group, we did not get to maybe where the person wanted to be, but I noticed a shift in their movement, and whatever they're working on is getting closer. And the realization, it was amazing, the realization that it's something they hadn't spoken about before, but this is the first time. And I noticed the hand coming closer.
Okay, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And Kimberly?
Yeah, I did it with Leah, and she seemed to be very good with her well-formed outcomes.
Leah knows her well-formed outcomes.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she's going to buy, how it feels, how it looks like, how it smells like, and then we were cut off. So, yeah, that was quite good.
Okay, and again, it's about doing things really quickly. This is a speed learning lunch, but remember, next week we're doing building rapport. So we'll be touching on the NLP skills for building rapport. So thank you for that. So let me just do this last one here, the checklist. And remember, everyone who's here, you'll get a copy of the recording for this, but you can take a photograph. The checklist, have you made the decision to achieve this? The number of times I have, when I've been coaching someone and I've asked this question, they go, no, I don't know. Huge. What motivates and inspires you to achieve this? Do you have the skills and knowledge to do this? Have you done this before? Do you know the steps? How will you know when you've achieved this? And how will you measure the outcome? And how committed are you to achieving the goal? And then write down your goal with today's date and the date that will be achieved and sign it. So if you've come up with a goal today, write it down. Write down today's date and write down the date you're going to achieve it. And when you do SMART goals, smart formed outcomes, there's something about signing it that makes it seem very real. Okay, so if you're NLP trained, We have the Professional Growth Club, and that's a club where we meet for 2 hours twice a month for live. So it's a session like this, but 2 hours of a session. The one we did yesterday, we were actually in the breakout rooms for an hour. And members get access to all of the archive videos, audios, and workbooks from December 2020. If you're new to NLP, but you're looking to just learn more about business communication skills, motivation skills, remembering that all my trainings have all got an NLP base, we've got the Professional Growth Club. The Professional Growth Club is $9 a month, or you can get 12 months and just pay for 9 months if you pay for this annually. If you would like a one-to-one 45-minute complimentary strategy session with me to decide how you want to take things forward, either to become an NLP coach with the dual qualification we now have, contact me at fiona@theprofessionalgrowthcompany.com, and I can talk you through either coaching programs I have or the qualification programs I have. So you can take a note of that. You can maybe photograph that if that's something you're interested in doing. The Professional Growth Club was only launched last month. We're just getting out of the initial stages. Tomorrow, there's 6 courses on there that you get access to all the time. Tomorrow, there's a bonus course goes up every month, and it stays for 30 days and then it comes off. And the bonus course that's going up, I'm just finishing the final recording for that. And that is the art of managing your time effectively. So that's a time management. And plus there's certifications on the Professional Growth Club. Everyone gets a certificate for every one of the courses they finish. Okay, so let's just get some feedback or some question and answers. So we've got another 7 or 8 minutes for some questions. So who's got either a question or a statement or something they would like to just share? Or something that you shared maybe about how you use NLP. Yeah. Yes, Sophia.
Sorry, nothing.
Sorry?
Nothing. It was
nothing. That's okay. So you were just waving stuff. That's okay. That's all right. So who would like to share? Hi, Laura. Yeah.
No, it's really interesting how quickly you shared the SMART goals thing here, because I think we're all on LinkedIn, we're professionals or entrepreneurs or whatnot. It was really good to have it laid out. But one of the things that I really forget to keep doing is putting that specific date. So today was a great, I would put 2023 or something like that. But it's interesting to put a specific date, because somehow by the time I get there, more is done rather than, so it was a good reminder.
So it's the day, the month and the year. Make sure you put the year. I've worked with people who've put the day and the month, and then we've gone back. Maybe they've come to a workshop, and then I've met them. Maybe I remember this happened in a workshop years ago. 2 sisters put the date they were going to visit New York. And I actually did it. They came back to do the same workshop 3 years later. I said, so did you get to New York? And they went, yes, we did, but we forgot to put the year. So it was actually 1 year later they ended up going to New York in the exact time that they'd set, but they'd forgotten to put the day, the actual year in that. It's just something about remember, our brains work like sat-navs. The more precise information, if you put a postcode into a sat-nav, the sat-nav will take you straight to that place. If you put precise information into your brain, because your brain is compelled to respond to anything you tell it. So if you're telling yourself, I'm going to achieve this by such and such a time, and as you said, Laura, you might not always achieve it exactly on that date, but most of the work will be done, or you'll be well on the way to achieving that. Yeah, thank you. Jubilee, you put your hand up.
Yeah, just a feedback to you and to everyone after our coaching session, Fiona. I really look forward to have the next speaking in Toastmasters. It really, I keep listening to your hypnosis CD, so MP3, and it really works well. I had no doubts anyway, but it's just strange because it feels completely different. Yeah.
Okay, may I explain to the rest of the group?
Yeah, please, you can.
Willoughby came for a session, it was 2, he's come for some coaching with me, and one of the things I'm also trained is I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I've been a clinical hypnotherapist for 30 years. So I do my one-to-ones are a mixture of clinical hypnosis, coaching, and NLP. And Kublai came from public speaking. Now I've known Kublai for years, and he's very confident, and but there was just to be something we did. It was mostly NLP techniques that got the change. And we worked with getting the change with state change. That's what we're doing. We were just doing state change. It was such fun.
Yeah.
It's a technique that I may bring in at some point. Maybe not in this group, because if people know nothing about NLP and start seeing us jumping up and down, that's when they think this is a mad cult. We don't want to be involved in this. But when you can think of something that maybe you've been nervous about and then change your state and then think about it again, it becomes impossible to think about it in the same way. You actually change the neural pathways in the brain through state. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I'm delighted that now speaking's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some other challenges, but I will overcome.
Digging and find more problems. That's all right. We're happy for you to do that. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Who else would like to speak, or who's got a question? I'm sure some of you must have a question about either something that you want to do or something. Use my time here. This is all part of the networking and connecting. Well, I put you into silent. Will we do this? Will we do the pressure silent thing? Okay. Okay. Annette, could I ask you to share maybe some of the ways that you use your NLP skills for your change management work?
Yes, just a small portion of what I do is make sure that when I'm leading on a change project, that I understand the people I'm working with, what their attitude to change is before I even start the project. Because if you can find that out by sitting down with each individual to find out what they feel about change, are they going to be nervous about it? Are they excited about it? All their worries and concerns and everything. And then you'll understand, so I'm working with a team, I'll understand each person's perspective of what is coming. And then I can address that in the language that they are giving me. So if somebody is very nervous about the change coming, I will say there's so much that's going to be the same. And there's going to be some really great changes, and we will support you through those changes. The person that's very excited, I'll be going, this is going to be fantastic. You love change. I can really work with you to help the other people on the team. So you start to get that collaboration before you even start saying, what are the changes and when they're going to happen? So again,
Annette, sorry to interrupt you there. How do you do that? What NLP skills are you using to be able to do that?
I'm listening to people's modal operators. I'm listening to what they're saying negatively or positively about what's coming down the line. I'll just be listening to just how they're feeling. What are they seeing? What are they hearing? And just using all all those senses to make sure that I understand each person before I actually embark on the change project.
Okay, fantastic. Because we've got things like the meta programs, are how that's the unconscious programs that are, it tells us what we're paying attention to. And we will be bringing that into one of the workshops, bringing an introduction to that. So that's our 45 minutes. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed that. I look forward, I'm seeing some people coming back. I'll be here for about 5 or 10 minutes if anyone wants to ask anything. And we'll see you next week. And next week is on some of the techniques, some of the skills for building rapport. Okay, so go and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you very much. Yeah, and we'll see you soon. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.